calling all green-fingered gurus and plant killers alike. We got you covered every month with gardening inspiration, hands-on practical advice and fun projects to do. From the latest in plant fashion, growing your own, whether to prune or not to prune, from cover to cover, The Gardener and Detainee magazines have got your back. Get your copy now or subscribe online at thegardener.co.za.
Gardening with Tanya is proudly brought to you by Gardena. Realize your gardening dreams. Talborn Organics, helping you grow healthy, homegrown, nutrient-dense vegetables. Stark Air's Hydrocash, carbon load your garden and retain moisture for your veggies. And TanyaVisser.com for all your gardening goodies and supplies.
Good morning, everybody, from a very, very chilly KwaZulu-Natal. And certainly by the messages that are coming through, I think it's all over, guys. It is super, super cold. I've even got a long jersey on today. And yeah, it's freezing, guys. And we've had frost for the last few mornings. We don't get frost here, okay? We live in a bubble. We live high up on the hill. And driving down the other morning, it was white. I know that you guys are experiencing extreme cold, so I certainly hope that you have tucked in those plants that needed some frost protection, because if you haven't, it's too late, Cyril, it's too late. Oh, why did I use that name? Oh, anyway, maybe there's something going on in my head. Anyway, guys, it's been a manic week for South Africa, and I am going to talk about the elephant in the room. This is a feel-good insert. This is a feel-good show, but we're going to talk about it because it has affected every single one of you that are sitting behind your computers or in front of your TVs watching now. There's a wonderful word that's been used. It's called looting. I have another word. It's not called looting. It's called downright theft. Whether you steal a pen or whether you steal a fridge, it's the same act. It is stealing. And I condemn, and I am angered, I am disappointed in South Africans, and it's not all of us. There's a minority that caused this upsurgence, this insurgence. It was planned, it was well calculated. We feared. Businesses were demolished. My cousin's little business that he has been working blood, sweat and tears for the last 3 years was absolutely decimated. The Steel head office was looted, stolen, goods taken that weren't theirs, and then it was burnt to the ground. We all know people and we all know these stories, and I for one am angered and I'm disappointed. I could go on, but I won't. But in all of this, in all of the heartache, and in all of the fear and the destruction to businesses and the lack of jobs, because now there are no jobs because the businesses have been burnt, I see the human spirit prevail. And that human spirit warms my heart. And there was nothing better for me than standing in a queue. And it happened a few times last week because our whole surrounding area was a bit of a mess. But there was nothing more heartwarming than standing in a queue looking for, I think I was looking for potatoes. I can't remember what I was looking for, but anyway, I was looking for potatoes or something. And behind me was a wonderful South African family, and behind me another beautiful South African family. And I was forced to stand in that queue for an hour and a half. But in that hour and a half, I got to have conversations with people that I might not have had the opportunity to have conversations with. And to those folks, thank you for giving me your wisdom. Thank you for opening up my mind and for seeing the bigger picture, and always seeing the positive. There is positive, and the spirit of human kindness has gone beyond. There have been aeroplanes flown in. There have been volunteer soup kitchens started up. The chicken farm down the road has been selling boxes of eggs at ridiculous prices so that we can all go in there, pick up eggs and take them to the places where these folks need them. Baby formula, food, just basics like the things that we're going to talk about today that require a meal. I thank you, I salute you, to our local community who guarded us and protected us. Unbelievable. Thank you so much. And to all of those volunteers that I saw down in Westmead when we were picking up papers and carting things and emptying black bags and moving the Clicks trolleys back to their warehouse, my grateful thanks. South Africans, we are amazing. We are beyond amazing. And we will prevail, and we will rebuild, and we will succeed. We have to. There is no other option. There really isn't. And one of the best places to start with all of this, of course, is right in our homes, in the places that we consider our sanctuary, our palaces. And it doesn't matter if it's a one-bedroom, if it's a balcony, it is your palace, it's your kingdom. And this is where we start building. And we start building with the basic blocks and the things that can help us. And for that is the message to you today. It really is. It would be remiss of me not to speak about the other elephant in the room that our family has gone through in the last week. A very, very, very good friend who used to work for Lone Hill, that's the gardener, passed away last week. And that's our Jonathan. For those of you that are watching, you know Jonathan. He was like my other brother. He was like my son. Sometimes I was mom, sometimes I was friend, sometimes I was Cruella. It happens. But we miss you, Jonathan, and we hope that you're at peace. I hope that you have found the peace that you're looking for. And to all of you who knew Jonathan, we know that you're thinking the same. And we know that he touched everybody's lives in some really special way. To those who suffer from any kind of depression and mental illness, and we all know somebody, I urge you to not sit with regret. Reach out, phone them, text them, talk to them. Because it's a long, hard, lonely road that they walk. And I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you to reach out to those people. But today this is for Jonathan. He tried to become a gardener. He did have some indoor plants. I know that he'll be gardening in the big garden in the sky with my brother. He would have met Holly. He would have met Harry. He would have met all those good people and all those beautiful fur kids who have gone to heaven. Right, let's see who's online. And my computer's decided to shut itself down. Right, there we go. Look at that. I can even do that. Guys, thank you, Viz. Much appreciated. Guys, let's see who's here. Janet, good morning. Tess, good morning. Sibasisu, good morning. Ash is the same here in Eswatini. Yes, I know it wasn't only in KZN, it was all over. Camilla, good morning to you. Pam, good morning to you from a freezing Paulshof. Oh, yes, freezing. I've even got my cup of coffee ready, guys, but I think it'll be cold by the time I get to take my next sip. But I'm going to take a sip very, very quickly. Yes, Lavelle, the community spirit was phenomenal. Indeed it was. Beryl, thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Bianca, let's read this. Agreed. Very well said. Thank you, Tanya, and all the wonderful South Africans who have supported each other. Continue to stand for what is right and glow with faith. Glow with faith. I like that. Yes. You know, it's got to shine out. It's got to we got to be a superhero. We've got to be superheroes. We've got to take our place. We've got to stand tall and stand still. And we've got to beam it out of us. Because, you know, it's really hard not to smile back when someone's smiling at you. It's near impossible. Just try it one day, actually, if you haven't. Renata, good morning. Beryl, good to see you online again. Aletta, good morning. Let's see who else is here, guys. Let's get down to here. Oh, my goodness. Catherine, good morning. Thea, good morning from Glen Vista. Wendy, yes, from a very, very chilly. Guys, Sharon, good morning. Carol Ann White, from a very chilly Mams and Toti. Yes, can you believe it? Adele from Paul, good morning. From a very cold and wet PE. Roseanne, you're getting rain. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I hope it rains for a week. I hope it rains for a whole week with you. Let's see who else is here. Shanley, good morning, Shan from Sazella, from Mandini, Byrne, Jill from Toti. Guys, it's lovely to see you all here and all the familiar faces. Right, let's talk about root vegetables, not root canal treatment, because that's something that we really don't want to have to talk about, but let's talk about root veg. And we're going to start off by just giving you some basic outlines. Like if you've never tried this thing before and you want to grow beautiful turnips, yes, turnips are good. And if you want to grow sweet potatoes, and if you've tried to grow carrots, but they come out looking like science projects, and like you're too scared to even eat them, you're like, oh, you look very funny. We're going to give you some basics to get started, guys. And stick with the basics, and you're going to learn. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. We all learn. Every day I still learn on what I could be doing better, how I could be doing it better. So if we fail, it's simply a learning. That's what it is. It's a learning. And if your crop gets eaten by some 1,000 hordes of locusts that come in and decide to park in your garden, it's okay. The failing is there, but the learning is better and the learning is longer. Okay, so first of all, it's about position. You know, they say in property, it's about position, position, position. When you're buying a home, well, a veggie garden is exactly the same. It's the 3 Ps, position, position, position. You need either a full day sun or a half day sun. If you don't have that, guys, stop the bus, okay? You're in the wrong spot. Whatever you do, please, whatever you do, and this is one of our biggest failings, this is our little home, this is our garden, we're saying, oh, darling, we're having a cup of tea in the morning, because this is how it normally is, or a cup of coffee, or whatever you might be drinking. We're having the discussion. Oh, I really think we should do a veggie garden. Yes, what a good idea. What a great idea. Where do you think we should put it, dear? I'm having a sip. Pause. Where do you think we should put it? Well, you know, down there, behind the garage. You know, behind the garage when you go down, I mean, some of you have never been there in years. You need a GPS locator to get you there. You need Google Maps because you've never been to the back of the yard over there. What do you think is going to make you walk there now that you happen to plant a few seeds? Nothing. Nada. No. You've got to have your veggie garden. You've got to fall over it. You've got to trip over it. Either if it's in pots or if you're going to be doing it in the ground. Keep it top of mind. Because then, paying attention and the powers of observation, by just looking and seeing, you will learn so much more. Plus, they're going to get a whole lot more love if you can see them and look at them. Okay, so that's the most important thing, where you're going to be planting them. Keep it close to the home and lots of sun, lots. If you've got a position that gets less than 4 hours of sunlight a day, so that's either morning or afternoon, less than 4 hours, guys, abandon the project. Step away from the vehicle. because it ain't going to work, okay? You're going to end up with long, leggy things. They're going to look miserable. The beetroot won't even look like a beetroot. It won't be identifiable. So please rather do that. If you don't have that kind of light, then it's not worth pursuing. However, let's talk about some of, now that we've got our position, I see there are lots more people coming online here. Oh, okay. Okay, but anyway, we'll come back to you. Right. I'm getting carrot emojis and broccoli emojis. I never knew you got those things, but never mind. Okay, now that you've got your position, how do you prep the soil? Guys, it all starts with the soil. It's like the foundations of the house, and I know I could be going on like a stuck record here, but you got to get it right, okay? Now, if your soil is sandy, if your soil is clay, your both remedies are the same. You need to add in lots of compost. Now, when it comes down to compost, guys, we all know that the best compost in the business is the one that you make yourself. Okay, this is compost that we got out this morning from the compost heap. I mean, look at it. You just go smell it. I wish I could send the smell through the camera. It smells beautiful. I've probably got a bit on the end of my nose like some pollen. It smells beautiful. It's friable. It's dark. This is all the leftovers that come from the garden. We shred them. We stick them into the compost heap. We create a Dagwood sandwich layer upon layer. The leaves go in there. The leftover bits from the veggie garden, those that we don't give to from the veggie peels inside, those that don't go to the chickens and that don't go to the bokashi and don't go to the worms, we give to the compost heap. Grass clippings go into here. Guys, and this just gets layered upon layered upon layered. And we add some compost activator to it and we leave it. And we let it be. And within 3 months, you can dig in and get out this beautiful stuff. Now this here is what amazing gardens are made of. It all starts here, right here. Okay, so you want to dig in loads of compost. Now with root vegetables, guys, if you've got a very heavy clayey soil, you know what a clay soil is. Remember we did the sausage test where you can make a sausage and you can bend it all the way around like that. If you can bend that thing all the way around, too much clay. Generally you can see it's got quite a red appearance. When it dries, it is as hard as rocks, guys. I mean, that spade will jump up and clop you on the side of the head. It's so hard. If you've got a high clay content soil, I want you to add in coarse river sand, okay? Coarse river sand. Add that in, dig that in, add in your homemade compost because that is going to break it up and get more air in there. That's why your carrot grows funny, okay? Because root vegetables, whether it's a beetroot or whether it's a beautiful sweet potato, that is a modified root that needs to swell, it needs to grow. Think about it, like one little seed in there, he's fighting, he can't get through it. He can't absorb the nutrition. So it's important that your soil is friable. If you are going to grow in containers, please use a premium potting soil and compost. Mix that together. And yes, there is no saying that you cannot grow them in containers because you can. Because remember, we don't need it a meter deep. No, we don't need it a meter deep. I mean, for goodness sake, if your carrot's going to get a meter, you need to talk to me. So you don't need it to be that depth. This depth over here, which we're looking at one of these little containers, is ample enough. So we've got 30 to 40 centimeters. This will be perfect in order to be able to grow any root veggies. The biggest challenge with root veggies is in terms of feeding. Okay, so when it comes to feeding, if we get it wrong and we're giving the wrong nutrition, well, that's when things can go a bit wonky. Okay, so you've found the right spot, you've prepared your soil, but we haven't finished preparing the soil. And I'm going to pop up here and I'm going to tell you how to do it. Now, what's very, very important is that root veggies are greedy feeders. Okay. One of the mistakes that we make when we are growing root veggies is that we put the wrong things together, but we're going to get to that. That's called companion planting. And the second thing is that we use the wrong fertilizer, the fertilizer that encourages top growth. Okay, so what fertilizer would that be, Tanya, and what should we be using? So take a look at this here. This is Talborn Organics. This is their VitaGrow 232. Now, I've shown you what fertilizers, how they work, and what they do. But I'm gonna give you a quick drawing again, because, guys, sometimes we forget. So come across here. This is a little bag of their VitaGrow 232. Now this stuff is 100% organic. It is certified by the EU Union, which means that there's no other residual stuff inside here. You are getting a slow release, 100% good organic fertilizer. And when I'm talking about and using these words, what am I saying? I'm saying that it's never going to burn your plants. You're never going to get any other trace elements that shouldn't be there. You know, stuff. You're not going to get that in there. You're going to get amazing microorganisms and microbes, because in organic fertilizers, that's what you find. Okay? So you're adding to the soil. You're not only feeding the plant, you're feeding the soil. And that's what's important. The plant in turn feeds from the soil, but we've got to feed the soil. Okay, so let's look at this guy over here. This is 232. Okay, now we know these numbers, hey? We know these numbers. Come on, I'm going to test the team now. Remember, this is nitrogen. This gives you green growth, leaves. This over here is P for phosphorus. Okay, that is good roots. And this one over here, which is potassium, is strength in cells and flowers. Okay, so when you are planting a root veg, you want this number to be big. Do you see that in terms of the ratio? Low, high, low. And this is important. And you use this, guys, you use this at 100 grams per square meter. What is 100 grams? A normal handful, like just a small handful, is about 40 to 60 grams. So 2 to 3 handfuls is ample. And that is when you are planting. You put this in the soil. No, it's not going to burn. No, it's not going to do anything like that, because it's a certified organic product. Okay, so it makes it much easier. So you're going to dig this into the soil at 100 grams per square meter when you are wanting good root veggies. 3 months later, okay, because this is a slow release, so you've kind of got it sorted. This is a slow release. 3 months later, you're then going to use this. Okay? You're then going to use this over here, and also from Talborn Organics, it's called 515. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look how the numbers have changed. Okay? Because now we're topping it up. Because now these roots are getting everything. You know, your beetroots are getting all the good nutrition. They're starting, the bulbs are swelling, the modified root is growing. But now the leaves are up. So if we think about a beetroot, there's this little fella, okay? But now what we've got to do is make sure that the leaves are getting the right nutrition to photosynthesize and in turn feed and give the root good starches. Starches are made up of sugars, which are created here in the leaves. Okay, and that's why, look at this. This is now big N, lots of nitrogen to give leaves, and at the end, lots of potassium for strength. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you guys, but if you've got any questions, just shout. Okay, so that is how we're going to look at it. So this over here will go a long way, guys, and your 515, you would apply it at the same rate. It's 100 grams per square meter, and when you're putting down the 515, what we call it, it's just a top dressing. So you would literally just sprinkle it around the plants. You don't even have to water it in, because it's not going to burn, which is truly a good thing to have, because us gardeners can sometimes forget. Alrighty, so once you've got that right, you've put your fertilizer in, you've added in your compost, you've mixed it, you then start planting. Okay, so what's next? Next is choosing what to plant. And guys, this is where it can get a bit chaotic, because we all want everything, and we go and stand in front of the seed rack. Come on, I've seen you. I've seen you at the shops. I've seen you at the garden centres. You stand in front of the seed racks, and you're like, oh, right, okay. Okay, yes, I want some of these. I want some of these. I want some of these. And you go home with about 20 packets of seeds. Yes, you are going to become a subsistence farmer within 3 months. That's where it goes pear-shaped, guys. Because we bite off too much that we can chew. Way too much. We get all of these, and if any of you have ever exposed yourself to sowing an entire packet of onion seed at once, and you have germinated them, hi caramba, you need a pill to help you get through the next few weeks. Because once you have had to prick them all out, you are going to go cuckoo-loo-loo, because there are just so many seeds, so many seeds. So there are various ways, okay? So we've got seeds, okay? Or you can get them in your little punnets. Once again, guys, small bites, okay? Start off with a few things that you know you can manage. Don't become overwhelmed. Don't try and grow every single crop and turn yourself into Phil the Farmer within 3 months. Something's going to go wrong. Okay, so it's all about bite-sized chunks. But guys, today's a really special day because we had a surprise visitor arriving in KwaZulu-Natal, all the way from Gauteng, and guys. The guy behind all of these seeds, is coming to visit us, and today I'm really pleased to have him right here in studio with us, guys. Johan de Pre, we know him as Panda, because he's just like a big panda bear that loves us all, and he's the brand ambassador for Stark Airs. Panda, come here, my son. Hello, Panda Bear. Oh, I know we're meant to be doing. What's that, 1.5 meters or something? I'll put a carrot
Tanya,
between us.
Yes, I think that will work well.
Panda, I love your outfit.
Oh, thank you so much. I was thinking to escape from Joburg to come to a warmer KZN.
Yeah, you brought the cold, my friend. You brought the cold. But I'm very pleased that you are here because you know what? You can definitely help us. I'll put you at the front gate for guarding purposes. Okay. I'm going to put you on a full night shift and I might feed you. Will that be okay?
You need more feeding, but I think with some of these vegetables, it can do
yeah, no,
well.
no, I think we can. Panda, tell us a bit about Stark Airs. I mean, and I've got like a small selection of seeds here, and I know I get overwhelmed when I go to buy them because I want to grow it all. You know, we want to try, we want to grow, and then I sow them all, and I make the same mistakes. I mean, I sow too many. And it's just like overwhelming. So tell us a bit about Stark Airs first.
First of all,
who are you guys?
We all make mistakes.
Yeah,
and we can.
Yeah.
It's fine to make mistakes because we learn from them. And to share with you, Stark Airs is over 140 years old.
My goodness.
So, Tanya,
they know their stuff.
They are trialed and tested.
Yes.
And one thing that I'm excited about Stark is our motto is to feed Africa.
Moiso.
And our goal is to end world hunger.
Sure. Now, you guys are not only in South Africa, you're all over.
We're in over 60 countries and 5 continents. We've got a sales team right around. We're sowing our seeds of success.
Fantastic. now, Panda, how does it work? So, you know, I've had the privilege of going to go and see your seed factory, if I can call it that. Now, guys, if you've been there, I saw this process. I would be prepared to pay 100 Rand a packet of seed after I saw the effort that goes into this. It blew my mind.
Tanya, every time I walk into that factory, it blows my mind because the process that it's all coming from the farm.
Yes.
First of all, the farmer gets their delivery seeds, and then it needs to go through a cleaning process.
Yeah.
And that alone require a lot of attention.
Yes.
And through all that machinery, and once that is all done, then it needs to get separated. Then you need to see the seeds that are actually going to do the work. the ones that will germinate at the end. Then it needs to be tested in the laboratory. Once that has been done, then only it will get packed. And Starkey's got one thing, that we will not send seeds out to the home gardener or to the commercial if we don't have more than an 85 germination rate.
Okay, so now, before it gets here, so now I've seen your people in the laboratory there behind like glass doors and that. They're testing the germination.
Absolutely. They test every seed, every delivery that gets to Starkey's, go through that testing.
So that's an 80% germination rate.
Absolutely.
Okay, so 80% germination rate. Did you hear that, guys? If we don't get that, we're really bad. Okay. Now, I've been out to your farm, and I've had the privilege of going out there and meeting some of the growers, but they're strange critters. And I'm going to tell you a secret, guys. There's one oak who only looks after cabbages. That's his life.
That is so true. We've got a few. I think it's more than 7 specialists in our different crops. There's one caring for lettuce. The one is for carrots.
He only looks after lettuce.
He only looks after lettuce, and you cannot imagine how many different varieties of lettuce there is.
Well, I mean, I think of a potato. There are over 2,000 varieties of potatoes. I mean, that's enough to blow my mind. And now, what do they do? What do those farmers do, or those specialists?
Tanya, they go and do trials at the different farmers. And if they bring in a new variety, a new lettuce, a new carrot, they will go out to this farmer and they will trial that. It's just not happening overnight. This is a process that they go through, and they need to see, is that specific? And you know, some of the retailers are quite hectic. Like the W store want only a tomato, a specific one.
See, it must only be that big. No, nothing bigger.
It must, the carrot must have this type of form carrot, or it must be a smaller carrot. And there's different so it's quite a process they go through.
So they've got to grow the perfect tomato, carrot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that must take years of development.
Some days I look at them, especially now last week, one of our guys that's running our cucumbers.
Yes.
He harvested cucumbers last week. Oh my gosh. Every day he needs to go and harvest because there's just more and more. And it's also a lot of trials that went in behind that cucumbers.
Okay. Panda, well, at least we know that there's a lot of very clever people behind all of this to get our little packets of seeds to us, and then we go and mess it up. All those brains behind getting us one little packet, and then as they say, it goes to pot. So tell me, what are some of the mistakes that we make? What do we do wrong?
Tanya, I'm in the fortunate position to get all these mails and to then help the people to do the right thing. Yes. And one thing that they do, and it's a huge mistake, our gardeners out there are doing, our home gardeners especially, they go and sow the seeds in a mixture of kraal manure. Once they put kraal manure down and then sow the seeds, they burn the seeds.
Correct. So it can't be too rich.
Can't be too rich if you do it.
Yes.
Put your kraal manure down, wait for 7 days, water that soil well, and then sow your seeds. It's not a mistake, but you just need to wait a bit.
Right.
Don't be so anxious.
Right.
You know, just wait a bit to sow that seeds. And the other thing is they water it to, can I say roughly, because it end up in the neighbor's yard. The seeds.
Yeah, I've seen that. You know, when you use one of those and it blasts it across. In fact, I got to show you this little gadget here because I want to show you my little carrot. You can give me not a carrot. I want to show you my little beetroots that we sowed just last week.
Oh, wow. Look at that,
and I'm sure that this is part of the success that we can talk about here, Panda. But this little guy for watering is very nice and gentle. We sowed these last week. These are little beetroots. Now I'm talking absolute rubbish. These are Swiss chard. We sowed these and we put just 2 Sometimes you can see actually a third one fell in there. Now, I know this is a big mistake that people make because they put too many
seeds.
Okay. Yes, they like empty it inside here.
And don't do it all. Why don't you just bulk it up? You know, add a handful of palm peat into a little container and mix the seed and then sow the seed.
100%. We use palm peat for most of our seed sowing. And guys, for those of you who don't know the palm peat, and if you don't, I'm going to give you a fine. You know that's this block of amazing stuff here, which is lightweight and friable. But this has no nutrition. Is that right, Panda?
No nutrition.
No nutrition.
It's a growing medium.
Yes. So it's important that we start feeding them. So these little guys now that are up here, you can see, oh, mummy.
They're so new,
look, there's its little seed cap, just there. Look. It's just busy popping it out. So what we do now, and as soon as they get to this height, and I think this is where people go wrong, is that we need to start feeding them, guys. We really need to start feeding. And you can tell me a bit about this stuff. Come on, that's like, what is that, Viagra?
No, Tanya, this is not Viagra. Let me tell you what an amazing product this is.
Yes.
If you are stressed, you take a Prozac.
Right.
And if your plants are stressed, they'll be taking a cow pack. So this is amazing stuff for transplanting. This is amazing for boosting. And this is seaweed bamboo that's been taken from the sea, and they pressed through a machine, and it's all been bottled, 100% organic goodness. And then
so
you feed.
that we would then start feeding. Absolutely. And can we feed all throughout the growing process with this?
You can. I've got even a wonderful combination, which is one of your products that you also endorse from Starkey's, is our NutriFeed, that you can mix with your cow pack, and that too, the best of both worlds.
I've got that. Roger that. Well, we've got a whole lot of tips from the experts here, guys. Panda, look, I've got a whole lot of veggies here that I think I'm going to put you to work on. And I think it's very, very cold, so what's better than a nice stew or something? Right, so I'm going to give you the turnips and some carrots. Let's put them in your sucky here. And you know where the kitchen is.
I know.
And I want to smell some very nice smells when I come off this live. And guys, I'll report next week on how good the stew was. Dankie Panda Beer.
Thanks, Tanya.
Thank you for visiting and happy cooking.
Safe.
Yes, we will do.
Tanya.
Dankie, bye. Oh my word, Panda Beer, we love him to bits. And yeah, I'm sure everyone had got some good information there, because yes, it is about the small things that we get wrong as going along. And there we had it from Panda. Now, I want to go back to this over here. When we sowed this, guys, because we were sowing Swiss chard, and it's quite a big seed, okay? Although it's not a root veg, I want you to use the same principle, the exact same principle. So let's say if these were turnips, okay? Now, have a look here. There's your turnip seed. Ideally, any seed that starts that is biggish. And when I mean biggish, I mean you can see the size compared to a little fine carrot seeds. One tip is definitely soak it overnight. Soak it overnight before you start sowing. It makes life a whole lot easier, especially with the germination. In here, we have done them in little trays. We've put 2 or 3 seeds per cavity. What I then do now is I then choose which is the stronger once it's germinated. And I used our little germination chamber for that, which you can see made it brilliant. I watered them once and I didn't have to water them again. But what you can do at this point is you can now decide. Do you see I've got 3 over here? 3 little guys that have germinated. This one you can see is a bit poop, okay? He's looking miserable. So at this point, what I do is I simply remove that guy. So what I've done is I've reduced the competition by 1/3, literally by 1/3. I had 3. I've reduced the weakest of them, and I'm going to allow these 2 to grow up, get big and strong, and then they will go straight into the garden. Likewise, with these 3 that have germinated here, I'm going to keep the 2 strongest, and I'm going to remove the weakest. There it goes. And that is a trick that you can use for a lot of any of your seeds that you are sowing into trays or even directly into the garden. Now, let's talk a little bit about what we can sow and what are the good root veggies. So I'm going to start with beetroot. Guys, love them, love them, love them. One of the most versatile, guys, whether you are going to eat it raw, whether you're going to put it in a smoothie, whether you're going to roast it, whether you're going to pickle it. There are so many options of this beautiful guy. Be patient, because it takes a long time, okay? But it's well worth the wait. It is well worth it. Now, with lovely beets, guys, important to know that when you have sown them, you have to thin them out. If you're going to do them in trays like this, then fine, you're going to prick them out, you've got control over it. But if you are sowing them directly, which you can, please, as soon as they start, as soon as they've germinated and you've got quite a few over there, guys, you have to thin them out. Because if you don't thin them out, how are you going to get beetroots this big? Because they're going to be like sardines, okay? And they're going to grow all funny and squish, and they're not going to get big and plump like we want them to. The other important thing to know, and a lot of us neglect this, is that beetroot leaves are yummy to eat. Yummy. You treat them as a spinach. So instead of just trashing them, of course, you could add them to the compost heap. If you are able to get them like this, cut them into small pieces. I'll use it as an alternative for Swiss chard. Throw it into stir fries. The young beetroot leaves are also great to use in salads. It is an easy crop. You can certainly grow them. But what is important is that you stagger your sowing. And it's the same with anything. Stagger the sowing, guys, because if you don't, you are going to end up with lots of beetroot that you and your family have to deal with. Okay. The other thing that I want to, which I'll touch on just now. Actually, let me get back to that. Now, the other important root veggie. Oh, let's talk, why should we grow beets? What's important? Well, beets are high in manganese. High in manganese. They're also known to lower blood pressure. Okay. They're also high in boosting your immune system and heart health. And they're a fantastic form of fiber. Makes sense, doesn't it? That's why we should be eating it. Right. Oh, I've got a queue of questions. Hold on 1 second. Let's just go and have a look here. Janet wants to know, what do you think about chicken manure? I think chicken manure is amazing. Yes, but Janet, please put that chicken manure in a pile or spread it out and let it dry out. It's important that it dries out and it composts, because chicken manure on its own straight can actually burn the plants. So it's important to allow that composting process. If you can get hold of it, what I would personally recommend is to add it to your compost heap. Okay, add it to your compost heap, because then you're adding that nutrition into all your other decomposing matter, and you're going to end up with a really nutrient-high compost. So stay away from adding it immediately. Freddie wants to know, how often do you feed through the growing process? Very good question. It all depends on what the packet says, okay? Some fertilizers are slow release, others are liquid fertilizers, like the Calpac. You would use that once every 10 days. If you were using something like Start Grow, which is an organic based, it's full of the good nutrition to get your good roots. So this we use in the beginning, okay? This you would use once every 7 days. So read the instructions, guys. It's really, really important to get your right feeding program. But like we said with the tailborn, all that you do is first application when you're sowing, when you're planting, thereafter, 3 months later, all you need to then do is your top dressing with your 515. Okay, other great root veggies, and these you plant together, carrots and radish. I love radish. Absolutely love it. It's that crunch. It's that healthy, crispy crunch, which is just delicious. Mix these seeds together. Mix them together. Yeah, yes. Mix them together and sow them together, because radish germinates, matures far quicker than a carrot. Okay. Plus, it uses a different profile layer of the soil, and radishes use different nutrition as to what the carrots use. So, whilst they are busy growing and maturing, they are also spacing. So your radish matures, you then pull the radish out, and then all of a sudden, Camilla carrot has got enough space to be able to grow. Okay, makes sense. And it's because carrot is a longer crop. So have something, you know, like they say when you read all these self-help books, have short-term goals. Well, have a short-term goal. Sow your radish with your carrots. Okay, what do radish give us, guys? They're low in carbs. You can eat a bunch this big, and you don't have to buy another gene pant. The leaves are also edible. They've almost got a mustardy taste to them. So grab a few of the leaves. Don't always throw them away. Throw those into salads. You can even just pick one or two and add it in. They're also very good for antifungal properties. Okay? In other words, stomach ulcers. Yes. Okay? So that's your most humble little radish. Carrots, of course, we know beta-carotene, high in vitamin A, good for vision. Also been known to help as a good what we call is the beta-carotene, which helps to low cholesterol, and it's got high, what's that word called? Antioxidant. That's the word I'm looking for. So carrots go and eat up the bad guys, okay, the free radicals, and they lower those and suppress those. So whether it's eating a raw carrot, whether it's sprinkling it onto a salad, our dogs love carrots. It's a great treat for them. They just absolutely love it. There is sweet. You know, when we cook them, we kill them. A carrot. A true story. Eat them raw. They're so much better. And we grate the carrot onto the dog's dinner, and boy, they love it. It's like, woo, what is this? What is this? Yummy, yummy. Okay, guys, sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes. I know we can't get them in seed form, but guys, you can all get them at your local store. And all what I want you to do is, and you get different varieties. This is one of our favorite. It's the orange. It's sweeter. Remember, sweet potatoes, high in starch, but a low glycemic content. What does that mean, basically? It means it's healthier than a potato. It keeps you fuller for longer, and it doesn't give you that spike in that blood sugar. And they're really easy to grow. Really, really simple. Here's some what we do is we keep them in the dark. As soon as they start shooting, we pop them into a bit of water. We get them growing because that's a vine. Remember, sweet potato is a vine, so it grows along the ground. So you plant this, let this little guy just stick out, plant it, leave it, give it enough space. And you need a few meters, a few square meters for sweet potatoes. Eh? And then they will simply just grow and send down their runners, drop down their runners, and where they drop down their runners, that is where you will find the sweet potato. So when you're looking for the sweet potato, you follow the runner, see where it goes down into the earth, and that's where you will start digging it up with a fork and not a spade. Because if you dig it up with a spade, you know what's going to happen. You're going to cut the sweet potato in half. But sweet potatoes are so easy. Plus, the foliage of sweet potatoes is a great ground cover. I mean, if you've got a bank that you don't know what to do with, plant some sweet potatoes, for goodness sake. You don't have to plant lawn that somebody has then got to mow, you know. Rather plant something like that, or some gem squash, or a nice, put in some nice pumpkins. There's so many different alternatives to use a space that might not necessarily have been used. Okay, onions. Onions are long crop, guys, but in our household, if I don't have an onion, I can't cook. Okay, it's a long crop. The foliage is prone to aphids, but that can get dealt with by using an oleum or a neem oil quite successfully, and also by the companion planting, which I'm going to touch on in a few minutes. Onions do take a long time, but they're easy to germinate. They really are easy to germinate. Small amounts, and as Panda suggested, either mix the seed with a handful of this palm peat, or you can just mix it with a bit of flour or a bit of sand so that you get your germination equally spaced. Onions do take long. You've got to wait for them to dry out first before you can then start harvesting. But when you harvest it, you can hang them, you can keep them lasting forever and ever and ever. Your onions are high in antioxidants, very, very high, and they also have cancer-reducing risks, and they also help to stabilize your blood sugar. So we've got a whole lot of pluses there. Plus, onions and a bit of garlic and a bit of thyme in anything makes a meal so delicious. So, so delicious. Okay, what else have I got here in my bundle of tricks? Turnips. Oh, I gave Panda all the turnips and I sent him packing. Guys, turnips, not many people like them, but let me tell you, you can get them either as little punnets like this, so you can buy them in punnets. And turnips are one of those things, I think we were all scarred by them at some point in our lives. But a turnip can be used as a substitute for a potato and any dish. They're high in vitamin C, lots of fiber, lots of manganese, lots of potassium, and also known to help respiratory issues, okay? That's a turnip. And simply just boiled with a few dollops of butter and a bit of salt and pepper on is yum. And also roasted. So it's easy, and not many things like eating turnips, like I'm talking about hohos, okay? So they work quite well. But come along here. I want to talk to you very, very quickly about companions. So when we talk about companions, what does that mean? Well, yeah, kind of we know the one, like basil and tomatoes. Basil and tomatoes work well together because it makes the tomatoes sweeter. The basils help the tomatoes grow stronger. And there's a relationship. It's like bangers and mash. You cannot have bangers without mash. It's like, okay, in my world, it's kind of a bit odd, but I like peanut butter and Bovril. You know, I got to mix them together. True story. So they're those things that go well together. And when we talk about companions, this is what we're touching on. They help each other grow. They absorb different nutrients, and the one helps to chase off hohos from the other one. Okay, that's called companion planting. So let's talk about it. I'm going to make my attempt to show you what a beetroot looks like. So if you're growing beetroot, what goes well with beetroot? Any of your cruciferous. What are you talking about? Cruciferous, those are cabbages. Cabbage, broccoli. Okay, cabbage, broccoli, lettuce, and onions. Okay, they all work well together. And kale. So if you've got beetroot, you can have kale growing next to it. You can have onions. You can have lettuce. You can have broccoli, or you can have cabbage. And this includes Brussels sprouts, broccoli. Okay, so that's what we call about companion. So you can have a row of those and then a row of those and a row of those. Or you can have 3 of them here and 3 of them planted next to it. Okay, so that's beetroots. Carrots. What works with carrots? Okay, here's my attempt at a carrot. Okay, but most of our carrots end up looking like this. Okay. When they end up looking like this, all funny, that's because the soil is too hard. Okay, so what goes with carrots? Guys, we've told you radish, and I can't spell, so do forgive me if I'm spelling these incorrectly. Beans, so that's climber bean, runner bean, all of those, and tomatoes. Okay, so that's with your carrots. So any one of these can then get used. In a line with them, along them, in a pot together, can work. Right, potatoes. What goes with potatoes? Beans, corn, and peas. Got it. That is companion planting. Stick with that. It will help the hohos, the bugs, plus you're going to get really good nutrition. And the one plant is not going to be stealing too much nutrition out the soil because they complement each other. Okay. Whew, that was fast. Right, moving along. Okay, guys. Next up, let's talk about watering. Now, in terms of watering, it's a deep watering. Listen carefully, because it's a root vegetable. When dealing with the root vegetable, I generally consider it, and I'll use the analogy of a rose, rather water them once a week, very well, a deep, good watering than little bits of droplets. Okay. Why do we want that? Because it's a root vegetable. We want them to dig deeper. We want those bulbs to swell, and we want big cell division. And when you do little bits, you tend to not get that. It's also important to treat your soil well. And when I say treat your soil well, I mean mulch. Mulching is important because it helps to trap the moisture that's in there. It prevents the weed growth, and you can use your homemade compost for mulching, or of course you can use organic matter like your leaves or even your lawn clippings. But I was sent this little guy to take a look at, and I have set the system up here, especially for you guys who want to either grow small gardens, that you've got small areas, so whether it be a little container like this, or whether it's growing in some pots. How do you water it? How do you keep it going? Well, this little guy, I put it together, and it's simple. Even I got it right. Okay, so this is a micro drip system. It can irrigate on a drip irrigation from 2 liters per hour up to 10 liters per hour just by simply adjusting the nozzle. It works simply. Look, attach it onto the tap. It comes with the computerized system, which you can then control your watering with. It comes with the tubing. All right, you get a whole roll of this big tubing here. It comes with an inline filter, which is this guy here, which you can then clean out. And all you do, I mean, it's dead simple. There's your tap point. If you're wanting to water, once you've set up your drip irrigation system, is you simply take the little Gardena cup link and just connect it in. I mean, yeah, and turn the tap on. Okay, that was the hardest part. Okay, so what does it come with? Let's have a look here. And guys, I mean, I put this thing together and it can feed a whole lot more. This is just a drop in the ocean of what this whole kit is capable of doing. So with the larger pipe that's over here, you get these little guys, which are all your connectors. And it's really simple. Once you've cut this black pipe, you just simply push it on here. So you get the longer pieces, you get these T pieces like this. If I wanted another piece of piping to go out this way. So that's the one little part of it. This over here is where you start attaching it to, you see, to your thinner tubing. So this is when I want it to get to other pots. So if I've got a pot over there, it just means that this little guy is just going to be a bit longer. It comes with a little T-junction like that. And onto that, all I then fit is, over here, is then fit my little nozzle. Look at it. So there's my little nozzle. And by adjusting my nozzle, I can then control my flow rate. And the nozzle then just sits in the pot. It's got these little McGafters over here, which help to keep it in place. So we just pop that in. This is for the bigger guy, which just helps to pop it in place. And yeah, that's your little nozzle. Really simple, guys. It's a system that can work whether you're at home or not, and especially if you're going away on holiday and you don't trust the house sitter. Yeah, anyway, you can just put this guy on. It controls the drip irrigation system into your containers, whether it's veggies, whether it's your roses, or just simply your favorite pot plant. It's easy to work with, and other things can be added to it. So you can add more to it by buying the other bits. But guys, this will get you going for 7 pots, plus you can add more. So if it's cut flowers you're wanting to grow, if it's a few veggies and pots, you can do it. So it's not only about growing them in pots. You can also take the system and link it up to a garden bed. But all in all, really simple. I love the technology. It literally is click and play. Even for people that are a bit technologically challenged like me. Right. Guys, we have gone through root vegetables in an absolute flash. I do wish they could grow as fast, but the promise of plants to come and of healthy veggies out of our garden is there. And it really is all up to us to follow the simple instructions to get it right. But I know that you're all going to be rushing out and either getting your punnets or buying your packets of seeds ready for this weekend. But I've got a few other jobs for you to tackle, so take a look here. Right, guys, so there we have it. Lots to do in the garden. I know it's cold, But get out there, get the energy going, get some vitamin D, because it helps the brain. It helps us cope. It gets everything moving. And that's why you see people standing in the sun like little rock rabbits, because it helps our inner soul. Folks, do remember that from next week, our next beautiful issue is going to be available for sale, our August issue. Here we teach you all about spuds, Remember, there are over 2,000 varieties. Grow them. You can grow them in a container. You can grow them in an old laundry basket. You can also learn how to make flower bombs. Everything on your checklist for you to do this month, plus some great DIYs. And remember, also look out for Grow to Eat magazine with yummy recipes included. Folks, a really big shout out to Stark Airs for their great support. Wonderful having Panda here. To Gardena for your amazing micro drip system, and I look forward to extending that into some of my other containers, and to Talborn Organics for your amazing organic fertilizer. Remember, guys, we'll get to all your questions a little bit later today, so please, if there's anything on your mind, get them through to us. What's last and most important to say is thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in, thank you for your support and love. I know it comes through. I feel it every day, and thank you for helping me through these last few difficult weeks. Take care of you and yours. Be safe, be kind, and most importantly, always happy gardening. God bless you all.
Gardening with Tanya was proudly brought to you by Gardena. Realize your gardening dreams. Talborn Organics, helping you grow healthy, homegrown, nutrient-dense vegetables. Stark Airs Hydrocash, carbon load your garden and retain moisture for your veggies. And TanyaVisser.com for all your gardening goodies and supplies. All plants kindly supplied by Blackwoods, the home of gardening.
Calling all green-fingered gurus and plant killers alike. We got you covered every month with gardening inspiration, hands-on practical advice, and fun projects to do. From the latest in plant fashion, growing your own, whether to prune or not to prune, from cover to cover, the Gardener and Detainee magazines have got your back. Get your copy now or subscribe online at thegardener.co.za.